What's up guys, Nubdub here, back with another video. So today I wanted to give you my 1 year ownership review of this 2020 Shelby GT350. First, I kind of want to talk about what I've done with the car, because you know, it's been a while since I've actually shown my car on the channel, and I've done some stuff to it. I just haven't really been good at documenting it on YouTube, which I apologize for, but I wanted to go over that stuff right now. So yeah, the car does look a little different since the last time it was shown on the channel. I did get some wheels for the car. These wheels are 20 inches, and I'm running 305, 30, 20 Michelin Pilot Sport all-season 4s all around. These are actually the rear tires for the C8 Corvette without the Z51 performance package. See, another thing I added were these ZL1 add-ons GT500 splitter winglets, and I'm really happy with how these look. I think it makes the car look a little bit more aggressive. I added these S550 white LED side markers on the car. These side markers are bright too. Like here, I'll show you. Yeah, those markers are bright as hell. And then lastly, I did some under the hood mods. I installed this air raid intake filter. I also added some red light tuning hood struts as well. So no more prop rod. So in my 1 year ownership of this car, I've only driven this car 6,500 miles, and I know a lot of you are going to say, oh, that's like nothing. You should have seen the amount of miles people drove their GT350s at Track Attack. Mine was considered one of the high mile cars. So I mean, that's saying something. I try not to make it a garage queen. You know, I actually do drive the car. I take it out to rallies and events and things like that, cruises. And yeah, this car is definitely not a garage queen. It gets driven. The one thing I haven't done with this car is taking it to the track. That's going to be way in the future. So in terms of any issues that I've had with this car, honestly, I haven't had anything major. You know, everyone with the GT350s are going to be like, oh, is your engine still okay? Or you know, I bet this car is drinking like a quart of oil every time you take it out. That's really not the case with this car. You know, this is a 2020. It has the Gen 2 Voodoo engine. It's a more robust engine than the Gen 1. So oil consumption, I'm not gonna lie, I have a little bit of oil consumption. And honestly, I noticed this car consumes a little bit more oil when I'm really like getting on it. So like say for example, if I take my car through a rally and you know, we go at pretty high speeds and the car lives in the upper RPM range during those times, I'll notice like after a couple of those events, the oil, the dipstick will show that the oil has gone down just a little bit. I check my oil every like 500 miles, and I'd say I'd probably have to fill up a quart after like 2,500 miles. It's really not that bad. I think from one of my rally drives, yeah, it was actually the last rally. I think I mentioned that my hood started fluttering at high speeds. If you look here, this rubber seal, it's kind of going bad. It's like little loose. Yeah, so this rubber seal in between the hood and the front bumper is going bad. As you can see on this side, it looks normal. Maybe it's a little sagging a little bit on that edge, but here it's like completely off. So I think because of that, air was able to get into the hood while I was probably doing like Mexico speeds. The air that got caught under the hood, it flexed the hood, so now you notice like this edge is raised a little bit, and I think that's what causes the hood flutter at high speeds. So I'm going to get this fixed. I also have a really weird suspension squeak coming from the rear, and I've read that it's due to the bushings in the suspension. They need to be lubricated. So now I'm going to talk about what I love about this car, and I gotta say this one I think is pretty obvious. The engine is my absolute favorite thing about this car. Just being able to, I've never owned a car that could rev so high. You know, this red line is 8250 RPMs, and it's such an experience getting the RPMs up in that range. It is a crazy experience. You know, the car is screaming, the power band too. You know, the car is screaming, and you just feel the car, it keeps pulling. The exhaust note kind of goes with what I said, like this car really does scream. Ever since I added the resonator delete, it screams even more. I love that. I love the X pipe that I put from Lethal Performance. So another thing I love about this car is the brakes. You know, like everyone, they always want to have a fast car, but having a car that can slow down as quickly as it accelerates is really, like, that really gives you the confidence to kind of push your car a little bit harder. And because you know, you have that ability to just slow down when you need to, in case, like, you know, there's something pops up on the road or you have to make a quick emergency maneuver. Yeah, having strong brakes is crucial. This car, it draws out so much confidence when I drive it. Like, it's really easy to drive. The brakes add to it. You know, on the corners, I don't feel like the car's just gonna spin out on me. It feels super planted. It's a really easy car to drive. And then, you know, the pedal placement for this car is perfect for heel toe. Even in traffic, when I'm driving back from work or driving to work, it's really not a big deal because, you know, the clutch is so light. And yeah, I don't mind driving this car in traffic at all. Then lastly, another thing I want to point out is this car, for the amount of performance it offers, it's honestly quite practical. You know, it's still, at the end of the day, it's still a Mustang, and you know, Mustangs, they have plenty of trunk space. I take this car on grocery runs here and there, and like this trunk is pretty deep. I have the rear seats folded right now, and there's a lot of space down here. And then the storage in the front is also really solid. Sure, it's not the best on gas, but really, who bought this car to complain about gas? Lastly, for this video, I want to talk about some things that Ford could have probably improved on this car. Things that I wish this car had. It's really small things. So the first thing I wish this car had was, when you start up the car, I wish the car remembered which exhaust setting you were in, like from the previous drive, or like when it was last shut off. The exhaust valves will stay open for a little bit for the cold start, and then they just shut off. It kind of makes like a fluttering. It'll give the exhaust note or the cold start note a fluttering like effect, and I know a lot of people aren't really a fan of that. Like, let the cold start, you know, let it be. Give the cold start some presence. That's what we're here for. So, you know, that's one thing I wish this car had, and I know there's mods for that, but yeah, I think that's something Ford easily could have done. Continuing off that topic, I mentioned that the car doesn't remember which exhaust mode you left it in when you shut it off. That goes for not just the exhaust, but like the other driver settings. So like your throttle response, your steering feel, and what else? The suspension setting. Every time, you know, you can individually change each of those settings while you're driving, which is cool. I think that was a good idea from Ford. But then, like, when you stop the car, or when you shut off the car and then restart it, you have to like reset those or readjust those settings every single time you start up the car, and I think that gets annoying. And then going off of driver modes, another one thing that I think would be really cool is having a custom save for driver mode. So I think like BMWs have this feature. There's like, you can have like 2 custom driver modes save. Actually, a lot of cars I'm sure has that feature, but you know, this car doesn't have it. So like, say for example, if you want your steering set to comfort, but then the shocks, the MagnaRide shocks set to sport mode, and say you want the throttle response in normal mode. I wish there was like a way to like just save that as a preset, so that, you know, I can easily jump to that preset if I want to switch from like between the driver modes. Yeah, and that concludes my video. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, please leave a like and subscribe. I have more content coming out soon. I've been really trying to stay on top with uploading on YouTube. I know I've been really bad about it, especially this past summer. But yeah, I've been trying to upload shorts like almost every day, and then I'll try to upload videos more often as well. So yeah, just stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.